are so excited to be doing this again. We love doing our weekly chats. It's actually something that I look forward to. It's super fun. So today we are going to be talking to you guys about, this is something that we actually were having a great time before this. And we actually just like, hey, let's talk about this. Our 3 biggest diet myths. All right. So we each picked one. There's a lot, but I was like, let's just do 3, right? So these are what we think for us personally that are like the diet myths that are like, oh, we cannot hear that again. All right. So let's start. Who wants to start off?
I will start.
Madeline is starting us off. Okay, Madeline, what are your biggest diet myths that you hear?
So it's both ways, and it will be either I do work out and I'm not losing weight and it doesn't make sense, or I eat really good and I just need to start working out. Chelsea already when we were chit-chatting, she made a good point. She's like, it all comes down to counting calories. So that's why when clients say that to me, I used to be in those shoes, and it really, and I used to try to fight that. And it comes down to tracking your calories. And so it's a hard pill to swallow, especially when your life changes, because I always think about it. I've always struggled with kind of having to be in the weight loss game. Super easy when I was in my 20s, like especially coming out of high school, because you're busy and you're moving. And so once again, that was just putting me in a deficit. And so I believed, all the crazy things I was doing. And that was the reason I was supposedly losing weight. But it comes down to it. My calories, I was in a deficit. My energy expenditure was higher. And so that's what it comes down to. And so usually what I'll see with my clients is they don't realize that their body's going to get adapted to those daily steps. So I will have people that they're like, I'm hitting like 20,000 steps from their Apple Watch. Well, your body gets adapted to that. That is your normal day. A lot of us, I work with a lot of moms, and so they'll say the same thing. I'm chasing around my toddler all day, things like that. And so their body has adapted to that. And so it's not so much, and then this goes to, you have to basically kill yourself at the gym by doing, 2 workouts a day. I was there. I think all 3 of us have been there, trying to work out a ton. And once again, it comes back to what your body's adapted to, where your calories are at, and what your goal is. And you can kind of flip-flop. And so that's what I have to tell my clients. Okay, you think you're working out, but we're not losing. We are, according to where we have your calories, we're in a deficit. So let's change things up. And that can just be changing their stimulus. And so, yes, they think those 20,000 steps were them being active. But once again, their body has become acclimated to that. We just throw in, I think it's like a 30, 45-minute walk of them on a brisk walk. You'll hear us use that term. And then another one is, and this is one that I think all 3 of us have realized, is focus on where your calories are and doing workouts that work for you, instead of feeling like you have to go. I used to be at the CrossFit gym at 5 a.m. with Soraya, and I felt like that was the only way for me to lose weight. Still love that, but I felt like if I didn't get in to that 5 a.m. class, there was no way I was gonna lose weight. So it comes back to tracking.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think that is one thing that we hear all the time, and we hear both ways, right? Oh, I just need to start exercising, and once I do that, I'm gonna lose weight. It's like, you cannot out-exercise a bad diet. It does not matter how much you exercise, you cannot out-exercise a bad diet. So we here, actually, the first month, if someone is not losing, we specifically want them to only focus on diet. And guess what happens? They're losing 18 pounds, right, in that first month by just focusing on diet. So you've got to definitely dial in the diet, right? And then we can start working out, losing weight. And then we see it the other way too, right? Sometimes people will be like, oh, I'm gaining muscle, that's why I'm not losing weight. And it's like, okay, well, maybe you are putting on a little bit of muscle too, right? But for most of us, when we're in that obese category, right, we're probably still definitely not in a deficit. So That's definitely a big myth but definitely I think when you get tighter and you get smaller, it definitely is a little bit harder to lose those when it's hard to distinguish, I think. Like, okay, am I inputting on a little bit of muscle or did I not lose, right? When you get down to that tighter, smaller aspect. And that's when, that our offices, we have the, what's the scale called? We have the DEXA scan or not the DEXA, we have the in-body, right? And so that at least gives you a better understanding of really what's going on when you get smaller and in those tighter calorie ranges. So yes, that is one that drives us crazy. So, all right, tell us, what's your biggest diet myth that you have to always hack these people? Show them.
All right. The best one is when they tell me they're not eating enough, and that's why they're not losing weight. And typically, I'm getting this from a third-party person who's not even a part of the journey. It'll be their online trainer they paid for 3 years ago, who hasn't worked with them and doesn't know what they're doing. So once again, we have little conversations. We write down, what they're actually eating or what they thought they were eating. And, 9 times out of 10, it ended up being 3 times more than the amount than they thought they were. So it just writing it all down. Once again, we figure out, okay, well, now we know we're maintaining at this. And then from there, we can decide, are we doing a 10%, a 20% decrease in their overall nutrition? And for a lot of our clients, what I'll actually do is I give them the opportunity to make the choice. I go, is it more feasible for you to add in a 20, 30-minute cardio session or a weight training session? Or can you stick to a calorie deficit? How do you want to make that deficit? You got 2 options here. And so which one is more likely for you to commit to? Most of them choose the food part because that's a little bit more controlled. So ultimately goes back to log your food. And we always say you have to log your food for an extended amount of time in order to earn to not log your food in the future.
Mm-hmm. Very so true. So I actually just saw the most interesting study about that, you guys, that they did a study and they compared the people that, I was going to actually share it with our group. They did a study, the people that said they were logging, right? So they were doing it, right? Like, oh, I know my calories were. They were 50 to 90%, 50 to 90% more than what they said they were eating. So like these people would be like, oh yeah, I'm eating 1,500 calories, da, da, da. And so they actually had someone like go and track every single thing they were eating. And it was 50 to 90% more than what they said they were eating. Like that's what a huge difference it is. And until
with logging.
Yeah, with logging, right? So like these people thought they were eating 1,500 calories and then they had someone that went around and actually tracked everything they ate. And it came out to be like 2,000 to 2,500 calories that they were really actually eating, right? And a lot of people, it could be something stupid like a Starbucks drink, right? I mean, I was just seeing that white chocolate peppermint mocha, 540 calories for a grande.
Yikes.
Right? For one freaking drink. So like, just think about that. So I think that is the biggest factor, right? You put some mayonnaise, right? Mayonnaise on your sandwich. How many calories you just add, right? So, and also, right, the thing that I hate about Starbucks is they can tell you that it's 560 calories, but that's with those exact measurements. If you guys go to Starbucks, they're throwing in the milk, they're throwing in, so it could easily be 600, 650 calories for that dang drink because I'm telling you, they did not precisely measure everything they just put in that drink. So
yeah, sure. And I think you tie this back into, I'll just bring it on to like one of our products that we use, semaglutide. And so a personal experience that I tracked my food for 2 years straight and I maintained 22 pounds heavier than what I am now. Because my tracking, I made sure I ate all the foods and I guess apparently a little bit more because, sometimes if things spill over, it's fine. And once I already had that, I knew what the amount of food looked like, and then you applied something that helped with controlling a little bit, your appetite control, your mental factors all combined, all of a sudden, I only required about 50% of what I was putting in.
Mm-hmm. Crazy.
And that was a huge reality check of when you are logging, connecting it to fullness and also satiety and what you need to feel your best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. And because when you're on like semaglutide or any type of something that gives you that little extra push, right? It helps you to be able to just only eat the things that matter. So you don't have those extra little cravings or like Chelsea says, extra little things, right? So it makes a big difference. Cool. Well, my biggest diet myth that I want to tell all of you guys right now, okay? Right now, listen up. Carbs do not make you fat. Okay, I promise you, and I would tell you like even 1,000 times more since this last year. I've never ate so much freaking spaghetti in my whole life, and I absolutely love it. Okay, but that guys is something that I've always definitely. I don't think you need to go overboard on it, right? And there's people that are on keto and low carb, and they do fantastic, right? And it might even help them to feel better. Absolutely, right? But I promise you that carbs are not making you fat. I will guarantee it, okay? Just like Chelsea's talked about, just like Madeline told you guys, with your calories, right? You're eating way too much of whatever else you're eating, right? You're eating way too much of your coworker's candy that's sitting next to you all day, right? You're at the freaking, store and you're nibbling on your kids, whatever it might be, right? And those are the things that are killing you. But without a doubt, right? Chelsea can tell you guys her experience. She used to measure every little freaking blood and all the shebang. She was the keto queen, and that was the only way that you could do this life was through keto. And I see her now eating rice, having a life, loving it, right? So definitely, guys, I promise you, it all comes down to one thing, just like Chelsea just said, track your freaking food. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, I know tracking sucks. And then I actually got mad at Brian the other day because he always used to tell me, the way to do is just eat like a dog. Eat like a dog. A dog eats the same thing every day, right? And I agree. If you're really serious about it, eat like a dog. Plan out your meal and eat the same damn thing every freaking week. And guess what? You're going to be fine. But the question is, do you want to eat like that, right? I don't know. I'm okay with it. I'm actually more okay with it than Brian is. So make your week, right? And once you have your week, right? Maybe once you get to your goal, then it's like, okay, on Saturday I get to do what I want. But once you have a week that you like that food and you know exactly what your calorie range is, eat like a dog. Eat the same thing every week. You won't have a problem after that. So, I don't know. Those are some little tidbits. So those are our biggest myths, right, guys? Anything else you want to tell them?
No, just stay consistent. Stay consistent in what works for you. That's the biggest factor. Stop trying to do the diet that so-and-so's doing, because if you hate eating those foods, don't try it. If you want to have cheese, then keto might be your thing. If you want carbs, then that's not keto. If you want fresh, then that's Mediterranean. If you don't want meat, then that's vegan. But in the end, it all comes to a calorie deficit. You can choose anything, but you got to do what you can actually follow. But lastly, if you've been trying a lot of things and you're still stuck, get a coach.
Yeah, you have to have a coach.
Yeah, get a coach.
You have to.
It'll make
Every
the
single
difference.
one of us here right now have a coach. Right now, we all have coaches. So I don't think that's a little weird, right? Why? Because you can always learn. If you think you know everything, that's when you're in trouble. I have a coach every day. Every day I have a coach. I always want someone holding me accountable. I don't care who it is. Hold me accountable. Right? Maybe you might tell me something new, right? Maybe you might give me a new idea. Maybe you got a new treat for me to try. But definitely, I'm telling you guys right now, if you think you can do this without a coach, no, you're wrong. You need a coach. Somebody. So that was a great point. All right, guys. Anyways, we hope you guys have the best day ever. And like always, we'll see you next week. We'll be here. Love you.
Bye.
Bye. Woo!